Section 6 Special Rules and Part A of the Rules govern movement of the special trains and government personnel accompanying freight shipments. The service of the special freight train and the special mixed freight train, the special train service, the SFT, the service of the special freight train and the special mixed freight of the passenger train is operated on a designated schedule assembled for the accordance of the instruction given to the rail carrier by authorized representative of the government or originating in the judgment determines the special train movement is necessary to exponential dimensions of weight of safety in connection with the service requesting the government transportation officers requesting such service will be notified in the conformity of the writing and endorsement of the effect of the place of the bill of landing. The charge of the special train and the service of special mixed freight and the passenger train will be additional to the actual freight charges and charges that accompany the attendance the charges of the accessory services which will be applied with the provided individual carrier and tenders the charge of the special train services as follows: the SPFT, the per highway mile, and subject to the minimum charge of the SST2. Special freight train services blank dollar amount charges will apply to the VA single joint line authorized individual carrier tender in connection with the freight rate assessment, landing and the transportation. Note: the attendance accompanying the government shipment of the AAS, the rail carriers will permits personnel government, including the personal contractors of the government accompanying the shipments of the freight train. Such personnel must delay the freight agent or point of their origin except for official travel orders of direction of the such travel. One way is the service charge of the AAS of the blank dollars per highway mile per person, subject to the maximum charge of the AAS per person for the point of origin destination, regardless of the route of the movement. It will apply the charges will apply to the VA via any single or joint line route authorized individual carrier attending connection. The freight rates assessed by the landing, and the transportation. The rail carriers are not required to stop and start in the trains and the cars and near station platforms of the furnishing the light of the combination of the safety accompanying the personnel. Bill landing will contain the following: the number of persons accompanying the shipment, the person in charge, the points between the accompanying shipment, the government and extending the permitted applicable agrees to the harmless carriers, the agents that applies to the over the claim of the liability demand unless the caused by the negligence carrier of the employment employs the damage arising out of damage injury to the person of the property resulting arising in any manner from the movement of the person accompanying the shipments and carrier to furnish the equipment of the government furnished equipment, caboose and caboose cars, and furnish one of the cabooses. In addition, will caboose regarding assigned to the train, and the train crew will furnish the carrier's convenience to the government personnel accompanying the train shipment. The caboose furnished in the carrier is except for the provided in the paragraph 1 of the caboose or the cars furnished in the government use of the government personnel accompanying the freight shipment, and be subject to the charge of applying the point of the original point of destination revenue millages are figured to the original point of designation regardless of any route of movement. And government caboose occupied by the CSP blank number per highway mile. Each carrier caboose occupied by the CSG or CGC per highway mile. Each government car occupied by the CSP per highway mile. Each carrier guard occupied by the CGC per highway mile. Unoccupied furnished cabooses and guard cars will be returned for the charge of original shipping at the point of designation and location. And in the case in the event of the mileage from the original destination location exceed from the mileage of original point of origin of the original point of designation, the mile excessive for the subject to the charge of CGC and the per highway mile. When the personnel that has been moved to the caboose and the car is furnished to the government, such as the equipment had held in the rail carrier convenience of the railroad property between movements of the car and will not be subject to storage demurrage. Note the 4 Section 6 Special Rules Part B Rules governing the movement of the ammunition, explosive Class 1 and classified protective sensitive material, radioactive materials, and other hazardous material substances and waste.